Profits plunge 50% at David Jones. Let's have a look. Good afternoon, everyone. Florian Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I have my stein of coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at this article from news.com.au, written by James Hall, about the tremendous plunge in profits at David Jones, one of the large retail department stores here in Australia. This really is a continuation of the retail recession that we're seeing. Their profits are down more than 50% in 6 months. Let's have a look at this. And David Jones blames poor result on the devastating bushfires and a depressed Australian economy. Now, we're hearing in the media all the time the Aussie economy is going well. Housing boom, housing boom, housing boom. Yet, unemployment isn't looking too good. We looked at that yesterday. Depending on which camp you're in, if you're in the Roy Morgan camp or the ABS camp, it's either up to 5.3% or up to, 9.7%. Wage growth is non-existent. Job ads are down, guys. Building approvals slightly ticked up last time we looked at the data, but consumer confidence is still pretty low. So this shouldn't really be a surprise to anyone who's just keeping an eye on the market. And today, the Aussie dollar touched 65 US cents for the first time in my memory. And we've also got gold shooting up and silver shooting up. What does that tell you about the global economy? Some of the videos we looked at yesterday with regards to businesses, Ishka, a knick-knack shop here in Australia, one that I would probably never be the demographic to go there. But their entire business fell apart because of lost certificates for the fumigation of imports. That delay was enough for the empire to crumble. Hundreds of jobs gone, or at risk. So there you go. What's that say for the rest of our economy, everyone? So beleaguered department store David Jones, half-year profit tumbled more than 50%, down 27 million, in yet another poor result for the once mighty retailer. The South African-owned chain blamed the devastating bushfire for reducing foot traffic in its national store network, while the recent coronavirus wreaked havoc on its supply chains. So they're copying it on their supply chains. They're blaming the bushfires for a reduction in retail traffic. I can't say I'm surprised. And I know some people will be saying it's all moving online, but it isn't actually. All of it isn't. There is an uptick in online purchases, but a lot of it isn't. It's not equal to what's being lost, I should say. Maybe people are saving. Maybe people are worried. Acting David Jones chief executive Ian Moore said the sad and difficult few months in Australia was compounded by the country's financial struggles. Delivering Woolworths Holdings' half-year earnings report from South Africa, he said the Aussie economy remains depressed, pointing at poor wage growth, record low interest rates, and weak consumer spending. We seem to be getting a different message from the business community, or certain aspects of the business community, to what we're hearing from the Reserve Bank, aren't we? And for our political class, our leaders. I mean, you can't blame them. You have to understand that the politicians need to put a positive spin on it, and it seems to be Trump's most powerful skill, amping up his base. How long can that last? So, these are the toughest conditions I've ever seen, he said. David Jones' operating profit fell 57% to 20 million in the 26 months to December 29, with competitive retail conditions, low spending and ongoing renovations continuing to weigh on the once glitzy chain. So, when's the last time? Let us know in the comments, guys. When is the last time you went into a David Jones to make a purchase? I can tell you the last time I went in there was to look at a Lorna Jane fit-out. We decided to go in there. That was probably the last time. I remember, I probably walked through one recently, and I remember it felt really sad. Just sad and old. The company will push ahead with its plans to reduce some footprint, and negotiate with landlords to slash 31,000 square meters of floor space by 2022. So just think about that. What are the landlords going to do? That's 31,000 square meters of floor area. And some of these things are just boxes, guys, on top of the shopping centers. These boxes. What can they do with them? You can't. It's difficult to convert them to other things. There's a lot of cost involved there. The retail sector and the property trust. It's going to be interesting to watch those over the next month, 2 months, a couple of years. See what happens. The ongoing closures is part of its previously announced strategy of removing 20% of its physical business by 2025. In Australia, consumer spending is likely to be muted in the short term due to stagnant wage growth and the impact of the bushfires, the group said in a statement released overnight. The heightened levels of competition and promotional activity is expected to continue. David Jones is expected to benefit from the completion of the Elizabeth Street store refurbishment. Online sales did grow significantly at David Jones, however, up nearly 62% in the half. And they don't need to be paying the premium retail costs, the square meter rate, to rent, this type of space. They just need a warehouse. Just think of one simple thing. The light levels that you need in a warehouse will be different to retail. Be a cost saving. Just there. The floor finishes are different. Everything's different. This has been an area of strength for the company after a nearly 50% jump in the same period last year, and is now responsible for more than 10% of total sales. Mr. Moore handed over the leadership of Woolworths Holding to his successor, Roy Baganetti, when handing down the results. But the executive will continue to oversee David Jones after admitting his $2.1 billion takeover of the diminishing department store was a mistake. $2.1 billion mistake. We overpaid for David Jones, and we bought it at the wrong time. But we had 2 great years, he said, according to the Australian Fin. The mistake was the amount of transformation we tried to shove down the throat of that business. We disrupted that business to far too great a degree, and I have to take full responsibility for that, but it doesn't make it a bad business. Really? Or could it be you've got a population struggling to pay off their mortgages, you've got wage growth that's non-existent, you've got GDP growth that's really low, you've got housing affordability, property prices have just shot up. Business confidence is down. And where is it? Where I'll bring housing affordability. I don't have it here anymore. Oh yeah, here it is. Housing affordability. Ludicrous. People have to save a greater deposit. They don't have time to go to David Jones and buy luxury items. Would they sell one thing that would be a necessity? If you want an electronic thing, what do you go to David Jones for? Just perfume, luxury goods? You can get them anywhere else. Would you go to jewelry? You wouldn't go there. Clothing? You go to the specific brand, I'd assume. So David Jones is downsizing its Sydney flagship store from 2 sites spread over 17 floors to 1 store with 11 floors and a foodie mezzanine, closing its Market Street branching and squeezing into the 1 Elizabeth Street premises. Natural light will stream in from huge windows on an area the company has dubbed Shoe Heaven. Above the shoes, in an area that was once offices for execs, will be a mezzanine with a champagne bar boasting commanding views over Hyde Park. Do you think this is going to work, guys? Do you think this just shows a lack of understanding, a lack of adaptation? But this transformation is costing David Jones, which in July recorded a 3rd consecutive year of sales losses. So there you go. And he's trying to touch base with more people that were underpaid. What do you think, guys? Are you surprised at the issues that David Jones are having, the poor results? What do you think this says for the retail recession that's happening in Australia? Please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to help us out, there are a few ways you can. You can share the content on social media, help the channel grow. You can also support us on Patreon or the YouTube channel here with a small monthly donation. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay for your consumer purchases. And as someone was asking on the Discord server, yes, I've noticed that people are using eBay. It's working. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We also have affiliate links for the crypto traders with Independent Reserve and Kucoin. If you use one of those exchanges, we receive a share of the fees that you pay. Doesn't cost you a cent. We also have merch on the HeiseSays website, pocket squares handmade right here in our very own sweatshop by my wife Rachel, and PayPal if you want to contribute that way. Thanks everyone, have a great day, and keep an eye on that gold price today. Take care.